Good news in Tampa Bay here, guys. Chris Godwin, he practiced on Friday, and his availability could attract some fantasy owners who may have passed on him due to his ACL injury that he's returning from. Should people proceed with caution, though, when drafting him in season-long leagues, Pierce?
I can't do it in season long. I'll let someone else handle that grenade. The injury, hey, he's looking better, but that thing's going to linger. You just don't know for sure. And more importantly, there's just too many mouths to feed. They've got all kinds of wide receivers. They got a great running game. They've got tight ends. I just don't see it. I don't want to go anywhere near this. And also, I mean, you roster a guy with possible injury concerns for a good team. He can sit out extra games. He can just take fewer snaps. I would much rather roster a guy with injury concerns on a borderline playoff team that's going to force it and get on the field, play extra snaps, like Devontae Parker for the Patriots. I doubt he's going to sit out very many. Now, Patriots are a little better than a borderline team, but I can't see him resting as much as Chris is going to rest. Kadarius Toney's another guy that I think he's going to need to get on the field, stay on the field. A lot of injury concerns, but the Giants aren't going to want him to sit out as much as Godwin can sit out. They just can't do that. And you look at these guys' ADP, Godwin's got an ADP in the 50s, whereas Toney is the 100. So I'd much rather take those savings.
Jeff, a lot of mouths to feed here, man, but he did establish himself as the clear workhorse for Brady. So led the team 98 passes, caught 98 of them, 1,100 yards.
He's a great player, absolutely. And like, if this was healthy Chris Godwin, we'd be talking about him as like, you know, close to a first-round draft pick potentially. I could see him getting built up like that, or at least like a mid-second. But look, I mean, what did the Buccaneers do this offseason? They've brought in multiple pass catchers, Gage, Julio Jones, even Kyle Rudolph to beef up tight end. Like, Pierce is right. There's a lot of mouths to feed. This is a good team. There's absolutely no reason to rush Chris Godwin back. Maybe they start 0-3 or something crazy, and then they're like, okay, get on the field, guy. But you are really just like rolling the dice here. He could even go on the PUP list and miss six games to start still. That's still a possibility. Just because he missed it for training camp doesn't mean he can't start there. So there's a lot of things going on. I think for the playoff run, maybe we get Chris Godwin back, but like we haven't even talked about the performance issues. It's an ACL tear. We do see guys still take that extra year to get back from it. I mean, he's not at the stage in the recovery where he's full go yet. His ATP is still too high. People just seem to be taking a given here that he's going to hit the field like 110%. It's just avoid it. I mean, there's way better ways to get exposure to the Tampa Bay offense with Julio now, and even just drafting Mike Evans as like a mid-round second who's going to get 1 million targets. So no, Godwin is just a no-go for me this year.
Yeah, Reed, Brady often targets like Evans in the red zone. So Chris Godwin doesn't get a whole lot of touchdowns, but man, in PPR leagues, like he dominates with his abundance of catches.
Yo, good word there, Emerson.
That's the biggest word I'm going to use today, man. My brain hurts.
Very multisyllabic there. I'm proud of you. I don't know what these guys are talking about. I mean, Jeff just mentioned Julio Jones, and we're talking about injuries. When was the last time Julio Jones played 6 games in a season as opposed to a full season? Like, that's what you're afraid of? You're afraid of Kyle Rudolph catching, like, give me a break. Look, I get that he's hurt, right? He came back to practice, I believe, yesterday. Doesn't mean he's going to be ready. He could still be on the PUP list, which probably puts him out to like week 3, week 4. But his ADP right now in redrafts is like 54th, which is mid-4th round. Who else are you getting there? Like, you know, like dead zone running backs, or you're getting some other like wide receivers that aren't Tom Brady's wide receivers. Guys, this guy had 9 targets last year, 9 targets per game last year. Like, he is fantastic. He was wide receiver 6 in full PPR before he got hurt. He was the guy in that offense. And so, yes, you might have to worry. You might have to bench him for the first 3 or 4 weeks. But then you get an absolute stud, potentially in the 5th round. If people are scared of him and he's slipping down to the 5th round, you're getting a potential wide receiver 1. Right? That's what you want to go for, is the potential and the high upside in season long. Like, Gronk's gone. AB is gone doing his dance and apparently becoming an artist, which is good for him. But give me a break. Go draft Godwin if he's slipping into the 5th round, please, everybody.